Lovely breaths in and settles ourselves into our space and minds for this hour of Pilates. So breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, just starting to find that postural checkup, thinking about the stacking of your body, how your skeleton kind of fits together for you today as you get yourself ready. Breathing in through the nose and just lifting and finding that spaciousness and almost that sense of lifting through the top of the head just starts to kind of bring that skeleton into its correct position. You know, it starts to sort of find itself just hanging there, feeling nicely stacked. You've got your hands reaching down, just gently down the side seam of the trousers, perhaps a little weight into the heels, the wiggling of the toes and relaxing them back down. The slight energy down the outside edge of your foot from the little toe there out towards the round of the back of the heel round there behind you. Shoulder blades slightly back and down. And of course, that head not hanging down towards the floor, you're thinking of maybe just reversing that head into its parking space above the shoulders. That might mean creating that sense of a double chin there as you draw the head just slightly back in so it stacks on top of the shoulder girdle. Alrighty, breathing into the lung space as you exhale, just drawing the belly to spine. So we're going to do 4 nice breaths, focusing on the belly to spine, engaging the core and drawing up the pelvic floor. So finding your Pilates powerhouse. As you exhale for 2 more times, just exhaling and drawing in and up the pelvic floor area as well, front and back passages. We've got 1 more breath in and exhale, drawing in through the core. And if your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them and bring yourselves back into the room for everyone. Draw the heels in together for me. So the toes slightly turned out. We're wrapping around the muscles of the legs here, almost like kind of a barber pole ribbon wrapping around right to the heels there, which are drawn together, zipping through those inner thighs. Wonderful. Hands come to the back of the head. Alrighty, and we're just going to start off by gently raising the heels off the floor and back down. So firing up those inner thighs. Draw the shoulder blades back and down, okay? So even as you're moving up, just shoulder blades back and down, and perhaps even tucking under those bottom cheeks slightly. If you can, keep those heels glued together, okay? It is a bit of a mind over matter. They want to separate, as I'm showing you now, but think about trying to pull them together and maybe not even traveling up so high, okay, if you find they automatically split. And then we're going to just pause with the heels down this time. Okay. So thinking of those heels staying together, we're also going to now come down and just send the knees towards the toes. But before the heels come up, just stop. And that's your maximum range. Just going to do 3 more, just gently taking the knees down. Now, what's happening with those shoulder blades? Again, are they pulling back and down, or have you felt yourself starting to lean forward and the bum sticking out? We're sliding down a wall behind us. I'm going to pause this next time the knees are down. Alrighty, so here's our challenge. We talked about the glue between the heels. Can you start to lift perhaps the heels slightly off the floor? They're still glued together, so they're kind of hovering. Now let's see if we can go down a little bit further. We're going to do 4 steps down with these knees broadening. So that's 4 and a 3, heels together, and a 2 and a 1. And as you come back up, you slowly zip the legs together and release the heels down. So we're going to do that 3 more times. First of all, knees go out towards the toes, no heel raise. Now float the heels and see if you can push those heels together. Holding that hover, we're going to go down for 4, for 3, for 2, bend your knees, last 1, and then straighten the legs and slowly down onto the floor with the heels. 2 more. Out go the knees, hover the heels. Down we go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly up into our standing position. Last time, control as you fire up those lower limbs, lifting the heels into hover if you can. If the heels do split, it's not a major crime, okay, but it's a focus and intention, if we could, that starts to send the messages around the body that we need. And then we're going to release the hands down by our sides. Fantastic. Okay, bring your legs into parallel, maybe give us a legs a little shake off. Alrighty, so popping the hands just on the hips to begin with, we're going to start off with a bit of round the world lunge work. We're going to head first of all towards the front of us. So perhaps just make sure you've got a space in front and behind. We're going to think about growing through the top of the head and just send our front leg forwards. Let's go ahead with the left leg, taking it forwards into a small lunge. So the back leg softens and then come back to center. We're going to switch sides. So then the right leg heads forwards and back to center. You're going to take as big a stride as you can. Okay, so you're just going to take a stride forwards and switching side to side. Hands on the hip just kind of gives you that center. It's surprising how sometimes you find that if the arms aren't kind of coming with you, you get yourself all into a wobble. They might just help slightly. You may prefer to have the arms out to your sides, if that helps for you. Okay, we're going to pause this next time we've come back to center. I'm going to head out now towards the side. So you're just going to take a small side lunge. So it's a bend of the leg towards the side and then back to center, and a bend of the leg to the side and back to center. Now you can turn the toes slightly away to perhaps the corner of the mat. And we're not looking to lunge too deeply, so you're not looking to get that knee way over the foot. It's just a gentle activation of the quadricep muscles, the glutes, as we head to the side. And come back to center this next time, and we're going to pause to center. We're heading into a reverse lunge, folks. I have a problem with a wall behind me, but go ahead for you guys. Going to step forward. You're going to take a small lunge behind, dropping the knee and back to center. Let me show you how it's just going to look from the side. You're just going to drop that knee kind of directly under the hip bone if you can. So it might be a small back knee bend, but we're reversing and still trying to keep the body upright. Sometimes you end up with a little bit of this going on, leaning forwards. Okay, I want you to still think about it, looking out to the horizon. Use those hip flexors, open them up, use the quadriceps and glutes, and drive yourself back to center, this time pausing in center. We're going to head around the clock, folks. So can we all start over here on the left side? We're going to head forward to the left lunge. Let's go. Forward to the left lunge. Come back to center. We're doing side lunge to the left. Come back to center. We're going to do a reverse lunge on the left there. Behind we go, and bring yourself to center. Switching sides. We're going to reverse lunge on the right. We're out to the side on the right. We're coming back to center, and we're forwards towards me with a lunge. We're going to reverse direction here. Again on the right, come forwards to me. Imagine that clock face, you're heading round. We're now going out towards the side on the right. We're heading into a reverse lunge on the right, folks. And then when the legs come together, we're switching and we're reversing on the left. We're heading to the side on the left. And we're coming to the front. And we're pausing there. Okay, we're going to just pause here. I want you to know that if you come in the next time to center, you can come into your knee raise. Let's go. We're taking it forwards on the left. Here we go, forwards on the left. And come to knee raise, out to the side. And a knee raise, out to the back, small lunge, knee raise, and taking your leg down, switching. So you've got your right leg into knee raise. Let's send it out behind us into reverse. Back into knee raise, out to the right. Back into knee raise and to the front. And if you're still with me, popping those feet back down, arms by your sides. Wonderful. Taking a step over towards the side. Okay, so we're going to do a complex little piece now. So we've got the brain has just started to fire up and focus, I hope. We're adding on slightly with a bit of more work to the upper body and the spine. So soften the knees for me. We're going to roll down into a V. So tuck your chin into your throat space. Guide your hands if you need to down the thighs, or roll down towards the mat. And we're coming forwards into a V. So walk the hands forward to the front edge of the mat. Bottom stays high. Head drops between the shoulders and elbows. Keep breathing, of course, keep breathing. If you're feeling a big dizziness, just lift the gaze slightly to look at the thumbs, just to take the weight on the body, stress from the head itself, okay? Lifting slightly up towards those toes. Let's go ahead and lift the right leg towards the ceiling. Okay, so we're going to bend this right knee now and draw it underneath us, and see if you can place the foot on the floor. From here, we are going to now stand up. So bring your body upright. And we're going to draw your left knee into a knee raise. Okay, so far so good. All righty, let's try that one more time. Step to the back end of the mat. We're going to do that one more time. Bend the knees, rolling down. Let's go all together. Now down we go towards the floor, walking forwards with the hands into a D-stretch. Let the head come between the arms, lifting up nice and high onto the toes. Lift the right leg again. Let's practice on this right leg. Draw this right leg through, bending the knee, placing the flat foot forwards. We're going to use that pressing onto the right foot as we come into our left knee raise. Slide that left knee up if you can, and place that foot back down on the floor. We're going to step away to the back of the mat, and we're going to do the left side now, rolling down. If you want to go into a straight leg roll down, you're more than welcome, and walking forwards into our V. Lift up nice and high on the toes, bottom nice and high, head between the arms if you feel a bit better now. Take the left leg towards the ceiling, Reach that leg nice and high. Then we're going to bend that left knee, pushing it through the arms, place the foot on the floor, pressing into the sole of the foot on the left, gently bringing yourself back up into standing. And when you can, the right knee comes through and into knee raise. Stepping down and back towards the end of the mat. Let's go one more time, rolling down. Again, if you want to explore straight leg roll down, please do. Walking forwards into V. Off we go. Stretch the back of the calves, lifting the heels up with the bottom to the sky. And it's a left leg extension one more time. Reach that leg nice and high. Oh, perhaps even higher this time. Bend the knee, pulling it through, placing the foot on the floor. Use your core, use your balance to draw yourself up into standing. And the right knee finishes with a knee raise as our little final flourish. And putting your feet back onto the floor. Well done. Stepping towards the end of the mat, we're going to bring ourselves down into a plank position. So rolling down for everybody now, our last and final roll down, peeling down towards the floor. Let's walk forwards into a plank. And I want you to know that if you're not planking, I would like you to be in 4-point kneeling, okay? So this is your plank. Folks, we're here in plank. If you're 4-point kneeling, drop the knees to the floor, flatten the toenails, and bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Okay, for everybody in whatever position you are holding now, think about the top of your head, not your forehead, but the crown of the head. I want you to think of the crown of the head, moving forwards about 2 or 3 inches and then back. So it's a small movement forwards and back. If you're in your plank position, use those toes and ankles to mobilize yourself forwards and backwards. Almost as if you're going into your pointed toes and then your dorsiflexion. You know, when we point and flex the ankles, same thing, but we're using those, firing up those calf muscles. Yes, it's heavy weight over the wrist. We're doing some more weight bearing on these wrists. We're doing 2 more. And for those who aren't in 4-point kneeling, let's pop your knees onto the floor. And now everybody pop your heels bottoms back to your heels for a small rest position. You don't have to get too deep. If you need to tuck your fingernails under, stretch across the top of the wrists. Oh, small rocks from side to side on those wrists or circles, whatever feels comfy. We're going into our second piece here. You've done some movement forward and backwards. This time we're going to stay static, but I'd like you to add a single leg raise behind you. If you're in 4-point kneeling, just glance towards me for a second and you're going to simply single leg raise out to the back and switch, keeping the core nice and still and your torso nice and flat and your pelvis nice and flat. For those in plank, let's go ahead and bring yourselves up. Choose your level, guys, 4-point kneeling, or you're stepping up and out into plank. If you're in plank, okay, if you're in 4-point, go ahead, lift your alternate leg raises. In plank, I would like you to single leg raise with a point and place your leg back down, single leg raise and point. Okay, so fire up those glutes, feel like it's a really nice, strong, lifted belly. Okay, almost like you're jetpacking yourself up and away from the floor, nice and light and airy under those hands. We've got last 3. Last 2, and this is our last single leg raise. Nice, strong, long legs for everybody, and knees down, and everyone now softening into rest position. Gently back into that rest, child's pose, heels to bottom. Again, fingernails tucking under, and taking that little rock from side to side, or maybe little twists. And then just bring yourself back up, and we're going to lie down. So crossing the ankles underneath you, or swing your legs to the side, and we're lying down. Okay. All right, you nicely long along the mat. And we're going to just bend the left leg to begin with, and the right leg's going to stay nice and long, single straight leg along the mat. Now, I'd like you to be in dorsiflexion, so the toes are pulling up towards your knees, okay, as I'm showing you now, just in case you can't see, the toes are pulling to the knees. Now, when you relax the leg, okay, you might feel the thigh bone's quite nice and relaxed, the knee joint is a little bit relaxed. So I want you to think about pressing the heel away from you and really locking out that knee joint, okay? So you feel like that knee cap is slightly pulling up towards the top of the thigh, okay? So you should feel basically this leg is as straight as it possibly can be and as strong and muscle active as it possibly can be. And all you want to do is 4 more of those, please. Breathing in, exhale, and straighten the leg as much as you can and release. So we're just almost feeling like that thigh is starting to fire up. And what we're actually doing is just doing a small bit of muscle activation around the knee joint. Okay, some of those supporting muscles around the knee. We've got 2 more. And we have 1 more. And bring your right knee into a bent position. And we're going to go ahead and extend the left leg. Long leg. Now dorsiflexion. Relax slightly to begin with, and then breathe in and exhale as you pull the kneecap up towards your top of the thigh and relax. You may even feel the response. Perhaps the leg starts to lift slightly around the ankle and the foot area because the calf muscles are also firing up and bulking up. That's what happens. We've got 2 more as you just gently draw that knee up the flat thigh and then relax, and then lock out the knee and relax. Bring both knees in. Bring your knees into your chest for a moment, a small little rock from side to side. Okay, so we're going to add on the single leg lift now. So again, placing your feet on the floor, left leg is bent, right leg extended, dorsiflexion, and go ahead and quad step. Yes, pull that kneecap up. It's fully locked. Okay, a little bit of neutral spine. Okay, so you've got a small gap in the lower back. We begin with a breath in. We're going to exhale and single straight leg towards the ceiling, and then place it back down with a breath in. Stay dorsiflexion all the time and stay locked out with that knee. Breathing in, exhale as you lift and lower. Now we should find there's a little bit of space as we lift that leg for the lower back just to press into. It responds to the tilting of the pelvis as you lift the leg. Okay, so we started with neutral. Nice bit of space for that lower back to tilt into. Okay, so we're not forcing anything there in particular. We're going to lift for 2 more, keeping that thigh nice and strong. This is our last one. And then gently bend that leg in, taking the left leg away, and again, dorsiflexion this time. Really thinking of that thigh nice and strong, bit of space, breath in, long straight leg as you lift and lower. First few, you might feel that tightness in the back of the hamstring, I'm sure. So you don't have to get up maybe so high with the lift, perhaps only halfway. Perhaps you can head up towards the ceiling or start to progress a little bit closer towards your nose. We've got 3 more. Exhaling as you lift. Last 2. And here's our final one. Well done, gorgeous. And bring that knee in. All righty, so we're going to just turn onto our side. So straight away onto our side. All righty. Okay, that arm is lower down to begin with, and I want you to just bring those legs to the front corner of the mat. So maybe first of all, start with yourself being nice and tidy down the middle of the mat. Lift the legs and place them in the front corner. I'd like you to turn the top toes out. Do you remember that little beginning position we had, that Pilates V, the wrapping round of the ribbons of the sort of outward spiraling muscles? We're going to feel that sense of spiraling out with the toes turned up to the ceiling. We're going to lift the leg towards the ceiling and lower, just a simple lift and lower. So this can be reasonably high. We are still, of course, thinking of keeping the rib cage a little bit lifted, the head nice and long. So you're trying to create some stability through the pelvis, but we're just trying to get a bit of a stretch and movement laterally sideways with this leg. Again, slightly turn out, so perhaps feeling like the heels pull together as you come together, and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. Gorgeous, well done. Draw those legs in parallel, pop them back into a straight position down the middle of the mat, and take your top knee, drawing it up towards the ceiling. We're going to point towards the inside edge of your knee there. Okay, let's start off with a breath in. Exhale, bring your knee towards your shoulder, and then tap down. Breathe in, exhale. We've got 6 more. There's a lot to get through today, so we're going to keep moving on with some momentum and pace. Okay, and we're going to pause this next time the knee is in towards your shoulder. Extend the leg towards the ceiling in point. Dorsiflexion, pull down with the heel. Now we're pointing and sliding back to that start position. Breath in, exhale as you extend. Breathe in, draw together. And into extension, dorsiflexion, pull down with the leg and into the shoulder, extend and down and pausing there. Gorgeous. Again, legs in parallel, knees towards the front. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves up into a higher position with the shoulder elevated, the elbow underneath the shoulder, and lifted the rib cage. Hands just towards the side to begin with. And we're working in clam. Okay, so with the hand on the side, you're keeping that top hip pressing forwards. All righty, so you're not rolling back towards the ceiling, keeping that top hip forwards as you lift, almost opposite energy. It's hip pushing forwards, but that leg is trying to head backwards behind you. So we're working those glutes nice and actively. This is our level 1, as you know, guys. We can add in, if you wish, we can add in a small lift. So as you lift now into clam, your bottom comes off the mat. Breath in, exhale as you lift and lower. You don't have to do this. Please continue with your bottom down if you would rather, okay? You're feeling super long thoughts in the neck, super spacious in the spine. We're most certainly not dumped down into that shoulder. So press down through the shoulder joint to the elbow. So you're trying to kind of keep that ear as far away as possible as the top shoulder as we go for 4 more. And 3, exhaling as you lift and open. Last 2, and final 1. Okay, gorgeous, guys. Bring in your legs to center, switching sides. Don't forget to begin with, we're lying down and our legs are at that front corner. So tidy yourself up down the mat, lift the legs off the head towards that front corner. Slight turn out of the front top foot, sorry, to plie stance. So you've got that little V. Still pulling the shoulders away from the ears, and neck and spine are long. Lifting and lowering, single straight leg lift. Okay, with this slight turn out, perhaps firing up a little bit more on the inner thighs, you squeeze together, and a little bit round there in that glute section as you lift and lower and lift. Maybe finding a little bit more range, perhaps with this slight forward position with the legs, perhaps a little bit more high kick than when we do just a lift towards hip height. Breath in, exhale as you lift. Last 2, exhale. And last 1. And bring those legs back into parallel down the middle of your mat. Okay, so you're nicely aligned and long, a little bit of point through the legs so you get stretched through the front too. And lift your top leg so you're pointing at your inner side of the knee joint. Top knee is up towards the ceiling here. Now let's just start off with knee to shoulder. Breath in, exhale as you bring your knee to shoulder, and then just tap towards the knee joint. Breath in, exhale. Breath in, exhale. We've got 4 more. As you exhale, pull that tummy in. Okay, you're working a little bit through the obliques, but around the outside edge of that hip there. Last 2. We're holding this last one with the knee into shoulder, please, guys. Pausing here. Extend that leg to the sky, and then we find that heel pull down towards the end of the mat, pointing your toes, and in we slide. Knee comes in, extension, flexion, pull down with the heel, stretch the back of the calves. In we go to point. Breath in and up to the shoulder, extend. Every time, perhaps feeling that hamstring getting a little bit more flexible. Is it? Maybe perhaps breathe in, exhale. Don't lose that upper body form. You're still pulling yourself in the opposite direction of the leg action. We've got 2 more, and up, pull down. Last 1, nice fluid flow. We go to the sky and we pull down and we pause there. Parallel with those legs one more time, knees come forwards. Okay, and we're going to bring ourselves into the clam. All righty, so we're going to bring our shoulder into an elevated position with the elbow underneath our shoulder, a lift with the rib cage. This isn't for you. Please do pop yourself down that previous arm position I just showed you. Top hand is on the hip, nice and lofty, spacious to the top of the head. Breath in and exhale as you lift that top knee and down. So you've got that pressing of the hip forwards, the lifting of the rib cage, the belly pulled in, really super still up top. And it's all going on down below. Breathing in, exhale. I remember last time we talked about almost that opposite energy, hip pressing and staying forward to stabilize. Leg trying to push to maximum range as it opens. Squeeze that glute behind you. And exhale as you lift to exert. Breath in, knees down, open, exhale. Adding on the hip lift if you wish for these last 6. We're going to do 6 more, that's 5. Again, space here, guys, space, space, space. And we've got 3 and 2. Lift, 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 last 1. And down we go, fabulous. Lying yourselves one more time down. Let's place a cushion, if you wish, behind the head. We're going to go ahead and lie down on the mat. Knees are bent. Okay. All righty, so you're going to be thinking about these arms nice and strong by your sides. And this is important that we practice this arm pressing into the mat. We've got a few things that I'm introducing for you that are new and a slightly higher level today. We'll have modifications if you don't want to, but first we're going to focus on building the setup with our arms being strong, down onto the floor, nice and pressed down. Can you go ahead and just go into imprint, where you press into that lower spine, bring your left knee into your chest, bring your right knee into your chest, glue these guys together. Dorsiflexion at the ankles, stand into these arms, chin into your throat space. Breathing in, exhale, send your heels towards the ceiling, and then bring your knees into your chest. So we've done some nice prep stretching the hamstrings. Okay, we've been really conscious about lengthening these legs. So breathing in, we're gluing the legs together now in parallel. Okay, so your ankles together, knees together, press heels to the sky. Okay, so you can change and modify here by sending the legs a little bit lower. It makes it a bit harder on the core. So by sending the legs to maybe 45 degrees, knees in, press those heels away, we're increasing the amount of weight from the fulcrum, that center, the middle bit, the pivot, if you like, your anchor, as I sometimes call it. As you exhale, you're bringing that belly to spine, press into the arms, chin into your throat space. All of those touch points matter. Folks, we're going to do 2 more. And here's our last one. And pause, knees into chest, place one foot down and then the other. Okay, go ahead and just pop those legs out into frog's leg position. Again, we've got a bit of a practice already opening the legs, working in a thigh. So just pause for a moment and see if it feels okay for you. All righty. Bring the knees back to center. Into imprint, chin into throat space, left knee, right knee into chest. Now, you can do a second set if you wish. If you wish to do a second set of either of the ones before, so legs up or legs away, then you're more than welcome if frog's legs aren't for you. Otherwise, relax the ankles slightly and take those knees away to the left and right, just as you did on the floor a second ago. So you've done that prep. But the knees are now into chest. We're now going to breathe in. So I beg your pardon. Now from here, pop the heels together. So toes are turned out, heels are together, knees are wide. We're going to breathe in, we're going to exhale, and we're going to choose again. You can send those legs to 45 degrees as you glue them together. If that is not for you, but you enjoy the frog's legs, then go ahead and frog's leg in and send the knees to the sky. So those are your choices, but with the frog's legs. If you would like to just take the frog's leg out of this, all right, then you can carry on with knees to chest as before. So many levels. You can change and change up to frogs. You can send your legs to the sky, or 45 for a slightly harder level, which means you're heading at this angle I'm showing you now. As you exhale, belly to spine. For everybody, do whatever you're doing. Exhale as you exert and send those legs away. Energy through the heels, zipping the legs together into your extended position. As you exhale, belly to spine, chin into throat space. Arms are long, ribs are down. Last 2. Well done, guys. And last 1. Fabulous. Everybody now bring those knees into chest, place one foot down and then the other. Let's just have a little sneaky full mat stretch. Okay, so you're working a little bit with those legs forwards, perhaps a little bit of flexion's been going on. So let's just align that body, feel it nice and realigned along the mat. Bring your arms back overhead and bend your knees. Okay. So for a full nice rest here, we're going to head into bridge. So feet are in parallel, knees are hip width apart. Yes, I'll say that again. We haven't got feet together and then knees apart. We've not got knees together and feet wide. We're not out of the corners of the mat with these legs. Check it out, folks. Feet in parallel, knees as well. A little space between the knees. Stand in the arms again. Shoulder blades back and down, starting off the bridge. Lift the tailbone off the floor so your belly button feels like it's really dumped down into the mat. Then start to peel through the rib cage, through the mid spine, through the rib cage, up onto those ribs, maybe even the shoulder blades. Okay, not looking too high, relaxing through the shoulders now, broad onto the mat, chin slightly nodded in, as I say, arms are long, and then peel back down, rib by rib, vertebrae by vertebrae, nice and slowly onto the mat. One more time. Step into the mat, spine is long, peeling up, press and broaden the shoulder blades as you come up through the lift, and then releasing back down, down, down. Okay. So from here, folks, we're going to bring ourselves into a single leg extension. So let's bring ourselves up and hold in the bridge. So peeling up, let's play this one as a team. Up we go into a bridge position, holding here, shoulders wide, chin in. Knees are pressing towards the end of the mat. Can you feel that slight pull there? Okay. From here, I'd like you now to think of your right leg. You're going to keep the knee at the same height it is now. Stand into these arms and just lift your right leg so that it straightens. But see how many knees are still together? They're not to the sky. They're not low along the floor. They are knee by knee. Press the foot back on the floor. Stand into your right foot and extend your left leg, knee by knee. Reach and stretch and back. We're going to switch from side to side and single leg reach and down. So the pivot comes from the knee. So you're looking to go into that quad setting, do you remember? And that nice long leg. But this time we're in pointers. You reach and stretch and down and reach and stretch. And for the observant of you, will notice there's a challenge with the pelvis stability here. Okay, as you're switching from side to side, you're kind of challenging this pelvis to stay stable because you've taken one of its little legs away, supporting legs. But then again, we need these arms. They're helping us massively too. Glutes working and firing. We've got two more. We've got one more. Bring both feet down underneath you now. Check you feel long through the spine, shoulders broad, and down we go. Shoulder blades broad, I should say. Down we go, peeling down, down, down. There's a bit of a rest there. Gorgeous. Well done. Bring your knees into your chest. Hey, well done. Okay. So that was a little bit of a pause from some of the leg work we were just doing. So pop the hands back down by your sides. Into imprint and draw your right knee into tabletop and draw your left knee into tabletop as well. Let's find that tabletop position. Okay. So you may find you want to just stay here, folks, okay? You might find you've been doing quite a bit of work here with the legs and you just want a bit of a pause, in which case hang out here with your knees glued and your ankles are glued too. And we're heading with our knees from side to side, like a metronome or a clock ticking from side to side, okay? So we're not looking to lift the bottom off the floor. We're just looking to send the knees towards the side and to the other side. Now, for those who find that a little bit too simple, you quite like to take it up a level, taking the legs towards the ceiling, and we're going to have those legs travel from side to side directly above the hips. Okay, so there's going to be a slight shunting of the feet away from being in parallel, okay, so that it'll rather neighborly, I should say. So there will be some movement, almost like an up down movement, okay, of these feet. And indeed, the same will be translating through into your kneecaps if you're in your tabletop position. There'll be that slight shunting of knees away from up and down next door to each other. And we're going to come back to center and just everybody pop your knees into tabletop, feet back down onto the floor, have a moment's rest, knees into chest if you wish, while I show you the next piece. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the high level piece to begin with. So your legs are going to be towards the ceiling as we just practiced, and we can do our left and right maneuvers. The pelvis is staying stable, the bottom cheeks are on the floor. We're going to head towards one side first. Then we're going to lower the legs slightly away from the body and out towards the other side. You found that other range of movement. Come back to center. Then we're going to reverse. Almost like you're creating the capital D or a semicircle, and then you slice back to center. For people in your tabletop position, you're doing the same. As you head to the side, you're just going to send those knees away to the other side and then bring yourself back to center. Exactly the same. Okay. Try not to drop those feet to the floor as such. Keeping yourself parallel to the floor and in tabletop. Legs to the ceiling then, guys, or into tabletop. Let's go ahead. Imprint, imprint, imprint. Okay, let's go. Everybody now, our knees or our feet are heading towards the right. Slightly looping those legs down now away from you. Semicircle, scoop round towards the left. Keep that right hip down, come back to center, breathe in. Exhale, tick-tock the legs to the left. Scooping down at 45 degrees, we're heading to the right, come back to center. We've got two more, out to the right and down. We scoop to the left and to center. Final time, heading towards the left with your legs straight or tabletop. Scooping down and to the right, and bring yourself back to center, knees into your chest. Hang your fingertips over your knees for a second, bring your knees into your chest, and have a small roll there, perhaps a little circle of the knees if you wish, just to mobilize that mid-spine. And then we're going to place those feet back down, and we've got our second piece of bridge work. So feet go back onto the floor, hands down by your sides. Knees and feet are hip width apart. Nice. Okay. Right leg, please, into tabletop. Okay, tabletop, tabletop, tabletop. Knee directly over hip, foot directly in front of the knee and parallel to the floor. We are going to bridge here. Stand into these arms, chin into your throat space, broaden the space between those shoulder blades. When you're ready, step into your left foot, and let's go ahead and peel on up into bridge. And then gently releasing back down. We're going to repeat on this same side. Breath in, exhale, let's go. We're doing 6 of these. Okay, this is a huge challenge for that stability through the pelvis. You'll probably feel like these legs and feet are going all over the place. Okay, that's number 3. We're halfway there. If you want to put the foot down and do the next without the leg raised, you're more than welcome. We're going to stay in tabletop though, if you can. Okay, so we can, I'm choosing this purposefully so it kind of gives you a guide. Okay, where the knees directly over the hip. We've got this as our final time. Okay, lifting into tabletop bridge and then releasing back down. We're going to go ahead and switch side, right foot down. And let's see how we feel on the left. So first of all, bottom stays down. Let's find the tabletop leg on the left. Okay, breath in, shoulders wide, press into the right foot, peeling up into bridge. And how does this side feel? And releasing back down. Observe, observe, observe. Breathing in. For me, much easier. Okay, many of you will find maybe it's the same because now you're using your right foot, and we tend to step forwards with that right foot. If you're right-handed, perhaps it's, if you're left-handed, this is not so easy. We've got 2 more. That right foot, therefore, is challenged more frequently in your functional day-to-day life as you move around the space. You'll choose to use that one as you step, change direction, etc., etc. And this is our last one. And then we're peeling down. So that perhaps says you maybe want to do more on the left side, more challenges. Next time you're out and about, folks, lead with your left or vice versa, the weak side. Place that foot back down. Again, just flip those fingertips over the kneecaps and take some small circles or rock from side to side in that mid-spine, just to release off a little bit. Okay. All righty, folks. So we're going to place those feet back down now, nice and safely onto the floor. Hands are broad now by your side as we just allow ourselves to just let the knees track over towards one side. The hips now do come off the floor. This is a twist piece, and you're going to let those knees head all the way to the side. Look towards the ceiling for the moment if you can, and I'll let you just see if your legs are to the right, you're going to scoop your right arm up and over and see if you can just grab behind the left thigh, perhaps just to increase the intensity of that stretch slightly. You may, and I don't usually say this in class, but we're building up slowly, you may feel like you want to progress slightly by extending that left leg out towards the edge of the mat, towards the edge of the room. You may feel an urge in you to try and see if you can hold on to that big toe. Perhaps you can reach that big toe and you can stretch and hold that toe and get a little bit more squeeze from the juice by holding the big toe there. Okay, as I show you here, so you're holding the big toe, or you're just holding behind the thigh, or you're just hanging out here with knees to the side. All right, whatever level, let's keep working into it. See how far you can get on. You're going to lift those knees towards the ceiling. Don't forget the gaze would stay to the sky. We're not going to let the neck come into this one this time. Knees over towards the left. Stage 1. Stage 1. And maybe let's just go through this piece by piece. Still looking towards the ceiling. If you want now, if those legs are to the left, you can get your left hand and just slightly hold and guide the left thigh. So big problem. Right thigh. The critical bit, getting my lefts and rights correct. The right thigh slightly higher up. Again, as before, perhaps you want to extend that right leg out a little bit more so that your left hand can grab hold of that big toe and you've got that straight leg stretch, okay? That's totally up to you. I'm going to hang out here with my hold on to my thigh just because I cannot punch through the wall with my leg. Simple restrictions. Still looking up towards the ceiling for me if you can, so the spine's aligned from the rib cage upwards. Because it's quite intense, we'll not just complete another layer of twist. Let's just keep the neck aligned. Okay. Whichever you're doing, as I say, head still up. We're going to release slowly and bring those knees together and back up to the ceiling. Well done. And bring your knees into your chest. Well, and we're going to bring ourselves into sitting. So you can roll over to the side, or you can start a little gentle rock and roll as you come back up. Okay. So we're sitting towards the front edge of the mat. We're going to be doing some roll-up preparation and some roll-over preparation as well. This is our caveat for one of the higher pieces that I mentioned before. So we've been practicing with the arms standing into the floor. We've been mobilizing the spine beautifully. So we're going to see if we can capitalize on that moment to do a little bit of overhead prep. If you wish to pop a cushion behind your lower back for roll up, you know you're maybe a leg flinger or your core isn't that strong yet, go ahead and pop the cushion there. Arms are going to start towards the front. And then we're going to flex the toes towards, flex the ankles, pull the toes towards the knees. Sitting nice and tall, we're going to start the C curve. We're not going to go through it in great detail because you know the drill. The chin's into your throat space, the belly in. Slightly letting the pelvis tilt, so you've got the opening through the front of the pelvis, peeling the spine back down onto the floor. We take our arms overhead, and you can point the toes if you wish. As the hands come overhead, breathe in, palms to the sky. Exhale, knees, beg your pardon, heels pressing away, toes pulling towards you. And we're going to just slide ourselves up and in the direction of those toes. The hamstrings have had a bit of a stretch, but they make it even more of a stretch here. Stay nice and low as you release back into your C curve, then peel the spine back down towards the floor, double arm float overhead, point the toes. Breath in as you lift your head to look at the toes, and then we exhale and bring ourselves towards the toes. And we're going to pause this next time we're down, guys. Pausing this next time you come down. As the hands come this time, as you come down to the floor this time, instead of the arms coming overhead, I want you to pop your arms down on the mat by your sides. Now you're going to bring both knees in together in towards the chest. Okay. Then we're going to send both legs away. And then we take the arms overhead, breath in, flex the toes, dorsiflexion the ankle, peel ourselves up and over. We'll do that one more time. As you come down, remember the C curve this time, no arms overhead, arms come down with you onto the floor. As you come down to the floor, bring your knees into your chest. Extend the legs away, take the arms overhead with a breath in, look towards the toes, and roll up. So that is your start level, okay, for just a small adjustment with your feet, knees coming in, I should say. Our second level, pause for me for a moment. I'm going to show you what's going to go on next. If you want to, we need some space behind us as we come back onto the mat. Remember, with the back, our arms are down onto the floor. The knees will be coming in towards the chest. From here, we're going to continue our roll over, okay? And at that point, we then slide the spine back down onto the floor and let the legs come either in and along, or you can lower the legs down towards the floor and then arms overhead. And we finish off the roll up. Okay, so let's do this piece together. Sitting nice and tall, breath in. Exhale as you release back. Slowly let the arms come down towards the floor. Bring your knees into your chest. If you would like to now extend the legs out along the mat and continue, then you're more than welcome. Alternatively, press into your arms, bring your knees to your nose and reach your legs overhead. Sliding back down slowly, slowly, slowly. Either bend your knees or lower the legs if you have the strength through the core. And then we take our arms up and over, flex the toes to the knees, breathe in. Exhale and rounding towards the toes. One more time, sitting nice and tall, breath in, releasing back down, arms onto the mat, and gently breath in. Exhale, knees into your chest, choosing here to put the feet back down and continue with your roll back, or legs come overhead in parallel to the floor. Breathe in, exhale, chin into your throat space. We only really go onto those ribs, perhaps the shoulder blades. You can bend the knees now if you wish, or lowering the legs with a long, strong, long lowering. Arms come overhead at this point. And with a breath in, exhale, peeling up and over. And we have our first bit of inversion. Well done. Gently easing yourselves back into a sitting position. And we are done. Okay, so popping their arms now behind you, perhaps find the middle of the mat if you've meandered elsewhere, and lose the cushion. We probably don't need it for this piece unless you have hip issues, in which case for this piece you might want to sit direct on the cushion itself. Bend the knees so your knees up towards the ceiling, hands also behind you. They're quite nice and broad. Okay, we have been doing lots of work on practicing with these arms behind us and the chest nice and open. So let's go and put that in as our foundation. Strong shoulders back and down, chest open, necks are long. Legs are together, not too close to the bum, but we're going to start off with a really simple tick-tock position, just sending our knees towards the side, the hips will lift. But I want you to still think as much as you can that your chest and your ribs and your shoulders face forward. So yes, there's a twist through the pelvis. Yes, there's some movement through the waist, but really kind of from the rib cage up, you're trying to stay as close to that midline center, looking towards the end, short edge of the mat as much as you can. So this is level 1. Perhaps this is where you want to just stay. Level 2, as we head towards the side, we're going to extend one leg, and it's the inside leg or the top leg, the leg closest to the middle of the mat. We extend the leg and bring it back to center, and we're going to go towards the other side. Over we go, and single straight leg extension. Again, knee by knee, just like the bridge work we did as we head to the side. Single leg, and really thinking about that leg being nice and long. Try not to dump down into that lower spine, especially as you lift. Okay, that leg still staying nice and tall and lofty. We've got one more. We're going to come back to center, having a momentary pause. Send the legs towards the end of the mat. And just sweep the arms up and behind you. We like to get those in when we can. And we're just going to pause here for a moment in forward flexion. Okay, so you've already experienced 2 nice little levels. 1 is the knees on their own. 2 is single leg lift, working on building strength and support around those knees. 3 is if we can take both legs to the side with our can flick. So bring those feet back to center. We're in our start position, lift nice and tall. Choose a previous level if you would rather. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and send the knees towards the right. We're going to breathe in, find that lovely strong core, and send both legs out to the side, and then bring yourself back to center and switch sides. Breath in. Exhale as you double leg extend, and back into center, switch. Breath in. Exhale and kick back to center and switch. Or if you're single legs, continue there. Or if you're double knees only, we're switching from side to side for just 2 more. I beg pardon, 3 more. And last 1, 2. Oh my golly gosh. Now the last one. And then we're going to bring ourselves back to center. Don't forget, again, it's arms being sweeping up and over behind us. Let's use that lovely movement of the shoulders and forward fold in rest position. Great stuff, guys. Have a little jiggle wiggle of those legs if you need to. Alrighty, so from here we're going to just take ourselves into a lying down position one more time, peeling back down towards the floor and bending the knees. Okay, so I mentioned we're doing 2 or 3 things that are kind of new to us. The hip twist is slightly new, adding in those double leg lifts. Okay, to the side, we're going to add in another piece now with our considering bringing our bottoms off the floor. So first things first, again, it's all about preparation and build up. So hands are down by your sides, shoulders broad and wide, chin into your throat space, a little bit of imprint. Bring your left knee in and your right knee in. Okay. So you can choose. For you folks here, we perhaps would like to have our legs to the ceiling for our scissors. Okay, don't forget scissors is switching one leg forwards and one leg backwards. You may find that you would rather have those hands tucked under the lower part of your bottom cheeks here, for example, and that might give you a little pelvic tilt, helps get a bit more into imprint, and perhaps helps get a bit more stretch to the hamstrings. This is level 1, okay? You can, of course, as you know, have your legs down and you can just work on single leg reaching to the sky and pulling your leg towards your nose, okay? But I'm going to see if we can at least start with our scissors. If you feel like you want to take it another level, on the fact, just let's all start with this. Okay, so our knees are into the chest. Can you reach your legs towards the ceiling? And we're going to pop the hands under the bum if you wish, or by your sides. Breath in and single leg towards you, single leg away. Single leg and switch. Just like a pair of scissors, these legs are switching as straight as they can. If you already feel like you're tiring or it's too much, pop one foot down on the floor, bending the knee, and you can work on your single straight legs. If you would like to take this another level higher, pausing with those legs together, bring your knees into your chest. You're going to bring your knees towards your nose. As you do so, peeling up, and pop your hands under your lower spine. Okay, from here, the legs come to the sky, and this is where we're going to do our scissor. Okay. It is quite a big transition. Join in when you want. Your shoulders are relaxed. They must stay relaxed. Your neck is in towards your throat space as we have prepped. The hands are on your hips. Your shoulders are supported. Okay, you've got these elbows supporting you for stabilizing. You're trying to split those legs at kind of equal point measure if you can, forwards and backwards. Last two. Last one for everybody, pulling your knees into your chest for a rest position. If you're elevated, pop your hands back to the floor. As for the bridge, where arms are holding us, they are stabilizing as we lower the spine down onto the mat, and all of us feet onto the floor, and pause there. Arms overhead, reach the legs out for your full mat stretch. Again, have a moment for that spine just to relax and lengthen. I'd like you to reach a little bit through the right hand and the right foot. The right side of the body has a nice stretch here, please. Right hand and right foot stretching away from each other, reaching away from each other. Pull, pull, pull. And left side, left hand and left foot reaching away from each other. And pull, pull, pull. Well done. Bend the knees, bring your hands back overhead. Pause for me, turning your face and head towards your right hand side. And let the stretch of the neck happen a little bit down the right hand side of the body, perhaps reaching a little bit more with that left arm actively away towards the feet and heels. And bring our gaze back to center, looking towards the left now. And again, this right hand, the opposite hand, instead of just hanging out there, just reach it a slight amount. You'll feel a little bit more depth of stretch down the right side of the neck and even the top of the shoulder there, a little bit into the deltoids, and then relax and bring yourself back to center. Wonderful, guys. Okay, so from here we're going to roll onto our tummies, please. So rolling over onto your tummies, our legs and our arms are wide like a starfish. We're going to head into our swimming piece. Okay, so nice and wide, forehead is down. Okay, legs are super, super duper long, and the arms are equally long, reaching, reaching, reaching. So much so that you feel the belly almost automatically comes up off the floor. Okay, it's being stretched as well, up and down through that belly button area. Okay, breathe in for me and lifting your right leg and your left arm. Go ahead and reach those guys as well. Even when they're lifted, just pause for me. Think about that quad setting. Do you remember that lovely long thigh? Engaged thigh, placed in the head, arm and leg down, switch sides, left leg, right arm. Once they're elevated, pause and reach, quad set, that lovely kneecap pulling up, fire up the glutes and lower. And back to the first set. If you would like to add in your forehead float as you come up, you're more than welcome to single forehead float as you lift the arm and leg. Do pop it down in between though this week. You've done a bit of work there with the neck, so let's just give it a little moment's break. As you come back down in between with the arms and legs, the forehead pops itself onto the mat as well. Now, perhaps we can think about, with this head joining in this week, as your arm and leg is down on the mat, can you lift a little tiny bit higher? Feel a little bit more space just above that belly button. Maybe one bit of extra rib coming off the floor as you lift. Not by lifting your gaze, don't forget. Not by lifting to look at the front edge of the mat or the room. You're lifting by lifting your torso. You're lifting by engaging your whole powerhouse. Okay, as you lift and lower and lift and lower. That's fantastic. Bring those hands down by your side. Put the forehead on the mat for the moment and bring your legs together. Okay, so folks, we're going to just bring ourselves now into swan preparation. Your elbows slide out to be at the same height as your shoulders. Arms are just above the elbows, so not by the temples. They are running out probably about maybe 10, 20 centimeters out from the edge of your mat there, okay? All right, as I say, legs are in parallel. They're nice and relaxed and long. Shoulder blades are down. Forehead is on the mat. In the same way with swimming, I went to forehead float and lower. You're not looking to lift the chin away from the chest. You're just lifting the forehead, pulling forwards, making space in that lower spine. Can you imagine that little inner Lego man we sometimes think about, the little top body trying to pull away from his little Lego legs or her little Lego legs as you pull forwards and lower. This might be enough for you. Perhaps you would like to just simply add on the elbow lift. So the hands stay down. As you lift the forehead, the elbows come off the mat. Perhaps you would like to add in the arm lift. So when you lift the forehead, the elbows and the hands come off the floor. And this is a glute piece as well, guys. This is a strong engagement and length of the legs. There's a squeeze perhaps slightly in the buttocks, but only gentle. And it's a pull through the upper body and a lift of the rib cage, just as you did in swimming. Breathing in, exhale. And this is our last one. Breathe in, exhale as you lift. And come back down, pausing here. Okay, have a wiggle and jiggle, whatever necessary. We're having a second set or layer to work into. Take a moment to observe. As you come into the lift, you can choose. Perhaps you want to go back to the previous level and just work on either of the options with the elbows down or elbows up. Perhaps when you come into your lift, you would like to experiment with perhaps sending one arm forwards into Superman and then heading back to the floor. So you've not quite gone into the full range of both arms. Perhaps you don't even want to do that and you just want to slide the arm forwards. Okay, or folks, we're going to take it up a level and add in Superman if you can. So when you're ready, choosing your level, breathe in, exhale, forehead float, legs along, belly buttons open. Slide or extend one arm or lift both arms and send both arms forward into Superman, reaching both arms by the side of your temples to the middle of the room or end of the mat. Bring the arms back down by your sides, lower down onto the floor. We're going to do 5 more. Lifting here. Double arm reach into Superman or a single arm reach or slide. Elbows come down and everyone back down forwards onto the mat. You've got 4 more. Lift. If you're in your singles, you're switching from side to side with a slide or a reach. If you're in doubles, we've got 3 more. Exhale as you lift and reach. Breathing in as you bring yourself back down onto the mat. Exhale for our last 3. And last 2. So that's your last alternate one if you're working in singles. And here's your final move for everybody as you lift. Reach, belly in, stretching, reaching forwards, drawing yourself back down onto the mat and pausing there. Fantastic, great stuff. Okay, well, I'd like you to see if you can go ahead, bring those legs together if they've meandered away. And I want you to see if you can reach towards your left foot. It may be your left sock. It may be your left legging. It may be your left ankle. Maybe your left big toe. We are trying to think about gently pulling that heel in towards our bottom so that the front of the thigh, the knee, the hip flexor has a stretch. Chin still into your throat space. If you find this is a real struggle, perhaps you can roll onto your side and you can do exactly the same piece, but you've not got the restriction of the floor. So you might find the knee come slightly further forward. Maybe it wants to be slightly higher and out the way. Well, that's another option for you. You can even see what's going on a bit better as well. So maybe you can help put yourself in space. Okay, by doing that. Switching sides, go ahead now. It's our right foot coming up and towards our quadricep stretch. Holding with the right hand. And this might be quite different. Again, each side is different. Maybe pulling in with the knee, the ankle, the leg in, the socks. Or rolling onto your side and again performing that slightly the same piece, but just being on the side gives you a little bit more movement, maybe some more opening that you need for yourself. And pause there. Okay, just hang out here and take 1 or 2 breaths. If you can, I'll work there. However, I want you to see if you can go ahead and bring yourself into reaching both ankles. This is not going to be necessarily for you. If it isn't, just hold on for 1 second and just breathe and relax. If you can, I want you to see if you can go ahead and grab both ankles Okay, if you've tried both ankles and you know that is not, or both feet, sorry, I should say both front of the feet, that is not for you, what I want you to do is now breathe in, go ahead and bring both legs up to the ceiling and just hold them in a kind of half bent position with your feet in flexion, so your feet are towards the ceiling as I'm showing you now. Okay, so you're in an upside down kind of tabletop. If you are not holding your feet, then I want you to single leg lift. So you're going to single straight leg lift as if you're pressing the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, and see if you can lift your knee off the floor. It's a small knee lift with the foot heading directly up to the sky and the thigh bone lifting. If you're holding onto your ankles, I want you to, or your feet, I want you to do exactly the same, where you single leg lift. Okay. A stronger piece now. It depends a little bit on your back flexibility, your back condition, the length of the arms, how much even you can open up that chest. Perhaps rolling the shoulder blades back together will give you some more ability to lengthen the arms to those legs. If you feel comfortable here, perhaps you want to think about forehead floating off the floor and single leg lift and lower. We've got 4 more for everybody. Okay, with your arms, if your head is down and you're just lifting with your legs, make these our last pair. Single right and single left, and then everybody now releasing those legs back down onto the floor. And that is our preparation for a piece called the rocking, although we are not rocking with it this week. Tuck your toes under, please. Pop your hands by your shoulders and bring yourself into 4-point kneeling. So pop yourselves back into the center-ish of the mat. I want you to start off by making sure you got that nice lengthened spine from the tailbone to the crown, shoulder blades back and down. And I'd like you to take your left elbow and just bring your left elbow down towards the mat, just to touch down towards the mat as if it's halfway between the heel of the hand and the knee, and then bring yourself back to center. And we're switching sides. Right elbow down and back up. And switch. Now you can increase this this movement by perhaps looking over the shoulder. So you're just going to start to twist through the torso all the way up through the neck, looking towards the shoulder or the side of the room. Perhaps you can increase this by looking up towards the ceiling. Perhaps if you feel, you can add in that little extra rotation through the neck as you twist and turn and look, and turn and look. And last one, and pause there. Fantastic. Okay, rolling over onto your backs for a figure of 4 stretch, please. We're lying down. So we've done a bit of stretch work through the front of the legs here. We're going to do a bit of work now through the glutes and the hamstrings. Can you take your right foot and place it onto the left knee? All right, that might be enough for you. That sense of twisting through that thigh on the right there is enough. However, the alternative is reaching now behind the left thigh. So you've gone through the middle with your right hand, outside the edge with your left, grab behind your left thigh. Draw this leg in towards you, okay, and relax the shoulders and heads. Relax those guys down. Some people enjoy a little bit of a rocking, adding a little bit of rocking, a little bit of movement, a bit of a sway, maybe a hold in a single position is a bit too intense. So swaying and rocking, or staying nice and still and breathing. And then releasing that right leg back down, and the left leg too if it's come off the floor. Left leg now crosses over towards that right thigh. Again, that might feel like it's enough. That pressing of the left thigh out there is enough for you. Or maybe reach behind that right thigh and again draw it in towards you. Once you've got there, if you've had to lift to get there, try and bring yourself back down with the upper body relaxed. Okay, looking good, nice. And then a gentle sway, a little bit of movement. And somehow sneakily with a bit of movement, you might be able to just draw that thigh in a little bit more on the right hand side without the body noticing or going into panic. So breathe, or just hold and breathe. Again, relax through the shoulders. And last 2 seconds before we just release the legs back down onto the mat. Fantastic. Gentle frog leg stretch now with those legs out towards the side. Just find that nice fleshy part of the belly button area. Pop your hands onto the belly. We're going to take 4 super duper breaths here, breathing into every part of the body that comes naturally to you. And as you exhale, just releasing the air from the whole of the body. No particular concept of breathing here, just breathing naturally. And one final breath in. As you exhale, pop your hands behind the thighs, draw the knees up together. We're going to bring those knees over towards the side of the mat, tuck the hands by the shoulders, and we're going to bring ourselves into 4-point kneeling, just slightly to the front edge of the mat because we're having our final flourish in a V. So tuck your toes under, lift the kneecaps off the mat and press up into your V stretch. Right from the beginning of the class, let's do a little bit of pedaling just to make sure we've just finished off the stretch of the whole of the back of the leg. But we are going to pause in V. We're going to lift the bottom towards the ceiling. What I'd like you to do is take the right leg up towards the sky and see if it feels a little bit more open, maybe a little bit more fluid than it did to begin with. We're going to bring that right knee forwards, and the bent knee is going to come through the elbows and press the right knee onto the floor. Just pause here. Just see and embrace how that feels. Okay, we're going to place that foot back now into a V and stretch the bottom up towards the ceiling. The left leg now comes up towards the sky. Reach and stretch. We're going to strike that left knee now forward into a bent knee position between the elbows, pressing the left heel down. Pausing here, just a little bit of a stretch. And then bring yourself back into your V. Coming forwards now into a plank. Ease yourself forwards into a plank. Everybody holding this plank for 2, for 1, bottom back up towards the sky and walking the hands back towards the toes. Nice little inch shuffles of the heels, reconnect with the mat. You may want to bend the knees. You may find you can have legs straight. As you come back up, chin into your throat space, tummies in tight, supporting the lower spine as you peel back up. Restacking yourself against a wall, imaginary wall behind you as you come back into the standing position, into the center of your mat, and pause here. Go ahead and take those feet slightly into parallel position, the arms towards the ceiling, breath in, turn the palms away and reach those hands down by your sides. Just bend in the knees for me slightly, slide your fingertips down towards the knees, and I'd like you to just do some small rotations through the knees. Small little circles, you can let the feet roll around and respond as well, and opposite direction. Gorgeous. Bringing those hands back up the thighs, standing into center, and finally just rotation through the hips. Okay, so you're imagining yourself just circling around the circle of this pelvis area. Okay, sending the bottom out towards the back, side, and front, and reverse direction. For a final little bit of loosening up, making sure nothing feels uncomfortable towards the end of class. Coming into center, feeling that beautiful skeletal stacking as you had at the beginning of class. Double arm float towards the sky with one more breath in. Lift towards the ceiling through the crown of the head, pressing the arms down by your side. Gain and stay nice and tall through the spine, and take 2 lovely breaths in. As you exhale, just slightly zip and hollow and find that center and core for our final breath in. Grow tall, exhale, zip and hollow. And for today, folks, working on our lower limbs with great gusto and attention. Well done to you. We are finished. Thank you very much for joining me for this Zoom class this week. And hopefully I will see you again soon in class. If not, I will see you on another recording shortly. Bye-bye for now, folks. Bye-bye.